Yo, this is Soul Drum 86 bringing you another video. This is going to be the final part to my review. I thought about many different ways to do this review, and I was thinking of maybe breaking down everything, but I really kind of want to get just my overall thoughts of the game. Now, before I start and say anything, I just want to get this out of the way. First question, am I having fun with this game? Absolutely. I would be lying if I said there wasn't anything that you won't enjoy in WWE 2K25. There's plenty of changes that are welcomed changes. The game still has some glitches. One glitch in particular that they have to fix is the entrances. The ring announcers are very, very low, but if you turn things down and just leave the ring announcer volume at 70, because everything is defaulted by 70. And if you turn everything else down but leave that at 70, he's like extra loud. He or she is extra loud. But if you have everything up, you can't hear the ring announcer. You could barely hear him. You have to really like kind of pay attention. You can hear the commentators fine, but just the ring announcers, you can barely hear. My Rise, I'm not done with My Rise. But typically My Rise is something that I don't really play until later. Like when I kind of get bored of doing the other things that I like to do in the game, like the exhibition matches that I put up, or like universe mode and stuff like that. Like when I get done kind of with those modes, that's typically when I go like full force into My Rise. So the only thing I can really say about My Rise now is that it is pretty good. They have live events now, so they got house shows, and that is kind of what you use to build up your player stats. It was actually kind of cool. One of my first house show matches, live events. Each one is like a different challenge, like beat a match in like 5 minutes. One was my first one was against Undertaker. It was called a dream match. A dream match. It was me. I'm using the Kenny Omega from Community Creations. I put him in there. And so it was Kenny Omega versus Undertaker in a casket match. I lost because my character was only 76 overall at the time. But through doing the live event matches, I got my character up to an 84 overall. So you can build the stats up pretty fast, just like how you typically can in My Rise. My Rise right now, I don't really have any issues with. I dig the story, just because I just like playing story modes. I'm not too critical when it comes to story modes like that. What I get annoyed with when it comes to My Rise is the social media stuff. And when you're like standing there and you have to like turn and talk to somebody else, and then you turn and talk to the other person, that stuff, if they got rid of that, My Rise would be damn near perfect. So I don't really have anything too negative to say about My Rise. For how far I've gotten in it now, I'm okay with it. Like, it's pretty good. Where the game kind of feels a lot of the same to me is universe mode. Yes, there's promos and there's calendar changes, multiple shows in one night, multiple shows in one night. You could do 2-night PLEs. A lot of the things are streamlined. Some things work a little bit better. But overall, it still is one of those things where there's just not enough. And I'll actually get into that with this video. I'm going to go to my superstar mode because I'm going to talk about both of these modes. Superstar mode, I'm actually surprisingly enjoying the most. I've played superstar mode more than anything thus far. More than anything. I know, I'm shocked myself. Because typically, like when they first introduced superstar mode, it was terrible. You just did match after match after match after match. You couldn't skip or simulate a match a week, and it was just a dumb setup because wrestlers don't wrestle every single week. So it was an odd choice to have it be a mode where you wrestle every single week. Well, now, thanks to promos, you don't have to wrestle every week. So you can break up the monotony. You can simulate matches, especially if you're not involved in a rivalry. I try to let the CPU set up a rivalry for me. A lot of the times I have set up ones myself, but I do typically, like this rivalry that I'm in right now with Jay, I didn't do this. This was all the CPU did, and I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. There's been some cool things that I've been able to do in terms of like building up storylines throughout the week, because this game is still programmed to have you go against your rival every single week, which is a ridiculous thing. I know why they do it, because this has been a thing in 2K for a while now, and they get it from the Vince McMahon way of booking towards the end of Vince McMahon's run in WWE, where he would have, the rivals fight every week, the PLE, and then a lot of the times they'll have a rematch on Raw or on SmackDown. So it's like they just constantly were wrestling against each other. He stopped saving the big match for the big event. And 2K took that idea and they just have run with it. It's still, the algorithm is still set to do that, and it's ridiculous. However, this year you have somewhat a little bit of freedom to switch things up, and so it makes Superstar mode in particular really fun to play so far. It's still limited. We still need more options, and I'm going to get into that. But one thing that I was able to do, I might upload it. I hope I still have the video of it, but I might upload it. But one of the not cutscenes, but rival reactions I was able to do, I was doing a feud with CM Punk. And because I didn't want to wrestle him every week, a lot of my options were I was kind of handicapped, and I'm going to get into that. That's part of what I'm going to get into. But one of the things that I was able to pick was choose a special guest referee to be biased towards you in the match. So I was like, you know what? I'm a heel character right now using Drew McIntyre. And so I started thinking to myself, who's a heel that everybody hates? Logan Paul. So I picked Logan Paul he's now my ally. I picked him to be the special guest referee on a Monday Night Raw main event match against CM Punk. And this was, when I tell you guys, this was one of the best things I've seen 2K do, or not even 2K do, but one of the best experiences I've had with 2K in a long time was this special guest referee match. When CM Punk had me down for a pin and we were in the middle of the ring, Logan Paul was calling rope break. It was hilarious. He would not get down to count, or he would count really slow. And whenever I went for the pin, I mean, it's typical stuff. You know what I mean? Typical stuff that you would see. And it just, the fact that it played out in this Superstar mode, it was fantastic. And then at the end of the match, and the match wasn't long, but at the very end of the match, he's standing behind CM Punk, and I'm on the ground at the time. I'm on the mat, and Logan Paul gives him a neck breaker, and I get up, go for the pin, and Logan Paul counted so fast, the 1, 2, 3, and it was perfect, because for the first time, it felt like I was actually able to build a story, and it was fantastic. However, here's the downside. Here is the downside to, especially now, let me talk about the universe mode one, and I'll do that while going into here. So once you click R3, you go into this part right here. In universe mode, they still have the option for free mode. Free mode takes away both of these rival reactions, right? Takes away both of them. So then you get to pick a rival reaction, and that will be the rival reaction. You don't have to worry about winning, because as you can see, whoever has more of the momentum, usually that cutscene will win. Now, if you do it multiple times in Superstar mode, yours will eventually win, no matter how much of the momentum in the story you're losing. You can still get your cutscene to work, but you just kind of have to play around with it a little bit. But the problem with both of these, whether it's Superstar mode or Universe mode, and this is the problem and the issue that I have with the 2K devs. So if I go to add action, and all of these cutscenes that they have, right? But as you see, you're limited, and you're limited because of your rivalry intensity. It's all based off of intensity, and I think it's always been this way, which has been a big issue for me, because in terms of universe mode, they love to brag about how it's a sandbox. It's a sandbox to a certain degree. It's not really a sandbox mode, because we're still not able to do what we want to do. A lot of the things that we do in both of these modes, it has to come from our imagination and our creativity. Ever since I've been playing Superstar mode, even though I'm enjoying myself, I have to put in the legwork and do a lot of the things like cause disqualifications. Now, there are cutscenes for this, but when they constantly set you up to fight your rival, and when you get to rival reactions and you can't choose everything because maybe your rival intensity is only a medium. So you can't pick anything from high or low or very high. What if your rivalry intensity is very high? Then you can't choose medium to high. You can't choose medium. You can't choose high because your rivalry is only at a very high. So you're limited. Why? Why limit it? To me, that makes no sense. In terms of universe mode, if it's our sandbox, allow us to do whatever the hell we want to do because you guys promote it as that. As a matter of fact, when you first click into universe mode in 2K25, you get a video package with Paul Heyman telling you how much of a sandbox mode it is. And then he talks about superstar mode. I think he actually talks about superstar mode first, and then he goes into the classic universe mode where the world is yours and you get to do all this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we get to set up our shows. We get to set up how many matches per night. We get to do all that stuff. But then when it comes to actually building a story, we're limited because this game limits us. That's what 2K always does. 2K is the game that is full of limitations, and that is really what holds this game back. It's due to the limitations. Right? It's the lack of detail. It is the kind of I don't really care attitude that comes from these devs, whether it's there or not. Playing the game, that's just what we get. Now, I'm going to go into the promo section, right? So when promos were first introduced into this game, they were not that great. The dialogue was atrocious. The cutscenes were it didn't make sense because I would have a promo with Undertaker, but he would be moving real aggressively. And I'm like, Undertaker doesn't do that when he's giving a promo. So they didn't even make the promo like style match the wrestler that you picked to do the promo. It was a mess. However, it broke up the monotony and it was still a welcomed addition because it allowed people to do something other than just matches. It allowed for story building. So you mean to tell me that you take promos out for several years. Finally, we get them back. And all we can do is accept open challenge, call out, issue open challenge, promo interrupt, and self promo. That's it. You mean to tell me the dev that works on this, he didn't think to have promos being done in the locker room? Kathy Kelly's player model and voices in this game. You won't want to have a cut scene of her interviewing one of your wrestlers. You don't want to have the option for promos to be done in the parking lot. Anywhere in the arena, right? Anywhere in the arena where you can do, cut scenes, because we see that in real life. And mind you, universe mode and superstar mode are modes where you go through a full calendar year, but it doesn't just end there. You continue to go and go and go and go. I know personally so many players who play this game and they do universe mode literally from when the game comes out to when the next game comes out. They're not starting over most times. They're literally continuing their universe. Give us enough options to make it worthwhile. Why don't we have cutscenes in here for Miz TV? Have some Miz TV segments. And then through the Miz TV segments, we have options of either attacking Miz. Miz might attack us. We get into a feud with him. Or our rival interferes the interview and does, there's so many different things to choose from. And this is why I talk about 2K the way that I talk about them, is because I'm done giving them excuses. We always give them excuses. It's time to be real about this game. This is why I speak like this. It's time to be real about this game. No more, they only get so many months to work on the game. It comes out annually. Yeah, but the games back then did. And they almost hit it out of the park every time. Every release. Was every game great? Absolutely not. But the majority of the SmackDown vs. Raw series was fantastic. The SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, etc. All of those games were great. Those games came out annually. They didn't have a 2-3 year gap. So what's the excuse? I'm sorry to rant right there for a little bit, but talking about this game again, it just makes me think about the times where people in the community just constantly give this game a pass. And they always make an excuse because they like the game. Two things can exist at once. I like WWE 2K. I know I make a lot of videos that people might think the opposite. No, it's just frustration from playing this game over and over and over again and seeing the untapped potential. That's where the frustration comes in. It's escapism, right? We want to be able to escape when we play these games. I'm just trying to be a voice for making the escape be worthwhile, making the escape be less stressful, more enjoyable. That's all I'm trying to do with these videos, man. And that's what I'm trying to do with this review. These are my honest thoughts of this game. Am I having fun with Superstar Mode right now? Yeah. Yeah. But I still see so many limitations. What if I wanted to pick Ultimate Warrior? And I'm somebody who is I'm very simulation like driven. So I'm not going to want to use Ultimate Warrior in the current day. So why can't Superstar Mode give us a little bit of customization that we get in Universe Mode? I understand not being able to build your show because you're only focusing on the one superstar. But can you please have an option where if you pick an old school wrestler, it'll default to making the roster all old school talent? And then from there, we go to community creations and download who we need and then implement them into Superstar Mode so they can fill out the roster. And we can have the old school arenas. By the way, 2K, please stop getting rid of arenas in this game. I don't understand why you can't just continue to build upon the arenas in this game. I feel like a lot of the times we have to unlock the same arenas most times. This is what I'm saying. Like 2K is always a game full of limitations. Promos are half-assed. Am I glad that they're back? Absolutely. They break up the monotony, whether you're doing Universe Mode or Superstar Mode. The reason why I stopped playing Universe Mode, though, is because we're still limited and you have to focus on multiple different rivalries. So if you're somebody who focuses on multiple different rivalries like myself, because if not, I might as well play Superstar Mode. But if I'm somebody who likes to focus on all of the rivalries that are given to me, because you can only do 1-on-1 and 2v2. So if I'm only focusing on those rivalries, that gets a little that gets a little old, because it's like I'm going to have repeat cutscenes, because depending on the intensity, I'm going to see the same stuff in a short period of time because it doesn't allow me to pick all of the cutscenes. I don't have that freedom. But that's 2K's biggest issue, is that we don't get the freedom that they even promote. There's limitations constantly. We constantly have limitations. Personally, I'm sick of it. I am. I'm really sick of the. This is a small little detail, but I'm really sick of the arenas not being in this game. We had so many different WrestleMania arenas last year, and now they're almost all gone. And we have to unlock WrestleMania 31 again, even though we had WrestleMania 31 night and daytime arena last year. Why do we have to unlock it again through My Rise? That does not make any sense. 2K does that historically. We have to unlock the same stuff 99% of the time. Every time a new game comes out, we just continue to unlock stuff. I understand why a lot of people just say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go to community creations. Because what's the point? Listen, man, at the end of the day, Superstar Mode is probably the best thing to do for me personally. I can't speak for anyone else. I do like My Rise. I haven't finished it. I won't probably go back to it for a while. Universe Mode, sadly, is Universe Mode. It's not really much. But if you're somebody who loves Universe Mode, I think the changes that you've been wanting, like the ones that they actually did implement, I think you'll have enough fun with it to keep going. Overall, guys, look, I can't give this game a legit score. The only thing that I can do with this game is tell you this. You are not missing out on anything. If you can wait, please wait for a sale, right? If you haven't played the game in a while, I would say probably go and get it. If you haven't played it for a while, I would say go get it. But if you've played recently, if you played 2K24, honestly, you can wait a little bit. And that's just me being real. You can wait. I'm not about to be somebody that tells you, oh, go out and get it. Because, like, look, I'm having a good time. But just because I'm having a good time doesn't mean that I don't see the flaws. Just because I'm having a good time doesn't mean that I'm not going to point out the things that this game lacks and the things that this game severely lacks. You cannot promote sandbox and then not give me that sandbox to play with. You can't. When is 2K going to finally just go all out and stop half-assing things? That's my one question. But like I said, guys, look, I don't think that you'll regret buying this game if you get it. There's fun to be had. Right now, the game is still a little bit buggy. Some might say it's a lot. It's a lot of bugs still. I've experienced some. But look, there's enjoyment to be had. But is it worth going out and getting right now? No. You can honestly wait. Not telling you to never get it. I'm just kind of telling you not to spend full price for it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let me know what you feel in the comments section. It's your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.